I have the wrong document. And I was like, what? I'm currently on my way to the closest DMV center to my city, and it's about 1 hour and like close to 1 hour and a half. Usually in my city, buses run like between 5 to 10 minutes wait time, but here I pulled up like the direction on my phone and it wouldn't even tell me. It was like, oh, time is not provided. And usually there are like computerized screens that tells you the bus number and the time they're coming. They had none here. What I did notice that is different from other places is they have like a closed area for people to wait, and it's air conditioned. What I concluded is because the wait time is so long, so I waited for 21 minutes to catch a bus for $1 instead of a taxi for $8.
A few moments later.
I'm definitely glad I didn't take a taxi, because that would have been a waste of money and I would have been so mad. I'm not sure why I wasn't able to take an exam today. They close at 6 and I arrived there like 4:15, but she said I cannot take it today. So I'm gonna try my luck in Seoul this coming week and hopefully that works out, because I don't want to come back here. Nope. I was so mad, okay? Like, I came here for nothing. I left home around 3 something. Right now 5:02. My train is coming in 8 minutes. And I took my train from my city to come here because to me this amount, okay? Trying to save money. And then I took the bus from the train station to the DMV, and it was like, I think 1,500. I was at the DMV for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I couldn't get it done, whatever. So I came back and I waited for the bus this time around about close to 25 minutes. When I got on the bus to tap, they just charged me $0. When you get on the bus, you tap, and then when you get off, you tap to get off in case if you want to take another bus soon after. But I didn't think I was still within the grace period, but I was, so 1,500. And then now to take my train back to my city, that. So we're saving money, because at the end of the day, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, so why would I want to waste money? Just waiting for my train in 7 minutes, and I'm gonna go home and eat dinner because I'm irritated. Hello, I'm back with another sitting video. So in the summer, I traded in my driver's license from the US for a Korean one because I would like to have the opportunity to drive here someday. Granted, and thankfully, getting public transportation is quite convenient, quite cheap here. However, there are times where I feel like I would love to venture out of my city to far away places. There are buses that can take you to far away places. It's just really more convenient to be driving your own car. You can work on your own schedule. You don't have to rely on the bus schedule. So that's one of the reasons why I want to get a car someday. And if I don't get my own car, maybe rent a car. So with a Korean driver's license, I have the freedom to do that. I just wanted to share tips and experience that I went through to make this happen. Disclaimer, this may not be like a whole conclusive list of things that I'm sharing here. I will be talking about the 3 options available, the steps to take, the expenses it costs me. It may not be the same when you're doing it, and you may find out some rules have changed by the time you are setting out to go through this process. So just want you to keep that in mind when you are watching this video. So what are the 3 options of getting Korean license? To the best of my knowledge, there are 3 options. The first one is called direct trading. Maybe that's just my word, direct part. It's just a trading in of your license from where you're coming from. There are lists of countries and states in the US where if the name of your place of residence is on that list, all you have to do is bring your license as it is, an apostilled copy of that license, a copy of your passport, and a certain fee. You bring it to the DMV and you do a direct trading. That means they keep your original license from your country and they give you a Korean one, just like that. Okay, that's the easiest option in my opinion. Second option, which is if you are from some countries or some states in America, you can trade in your license just like the first one, but you have to take a written test. If you are currently driving in your country, you've taken a driving test in your country, this should not be foreign to you. The only difference might be the wording of this questions asked, or the laws that may apply to Korea that may not be applicable in your country. So you are doing the same thing as option number 1, with the addition of taking a written test. The third option is going through the steps of acquiring a driver's license just like you would in your country. Going to take the written test, taking the driving test, and then getting your ID. Those are the three options that I am familiar with. Now you may go online and find that there are more options. Those are the three I found when it came to time for me to do this. So which option did I go with? Or which one was applicable to me? I'm from the US. Would have loved to go with option number one. However, the state I'm from, Rhode Island, Little Rhodey, is not on the list of states in the US that qualifies for direct trading. The next best option for me was option number two. I needed to take a written test. Basically, the tips I will be giving now would only be applicable for option number one and option number two somewhat, because you are doing the trading. If you're doing the option number three, then all you have to do is just read up on information on driving and go to take the test. So let's talk about the documents needed. I knew I was going to be doing this trading thing before I arrived in Korea. So while I was in the US, I went to the Secretary of State's office, photocopied the front of my driver's license onto a page, photocopied the back of my driver's license onto the same page, took it to the Secretary of State, got it apostilled, and brought that apostille document with me to Korea. When I came here, I learned that there was an additional document I needed to get, which I could only get here in Korea, and it's called the entry and exit document. Basically requires the documentation of every time you've set foot in Korea and left every entry and exit, just as it says in its name. For option number one and two, you need an apostilled copy of your driver's license. Now, if you're not like me and you only realize you would like to get a Korean driver's license after you've arrived in Korea, or you are already living in Korea and you're thinking about this, you need to get your document apostilled. And how do you do this? I cannot speak to the experience of someone who has sent a document with a third party, but that is a very popular option even for getting documents for other things other than your driver's license. I will include a resource that I've seen people recommend many times into the description box if that's the option you would like to go with. But if you're lucky like me and you're still in your home state before coming here, you may want to get that done before you come and just bring that document with you. That's the best I can suggest regarding getting your driver's license apostille. You need a photocopy of your passport as well. In my case, I didn't have to do that. I just brought my passport with me, and the worker at the DMV photocopied in person right there and gave me my passport back. So that's driver's license apostilled, photocopy of your passport. Now the exit and entry. In my case, I had issues with that. I'm not sure what I was doing or saying wrong. I didn't get the document until my third attempt. The first time, I needed to change my address on my identification card here. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get this document at the same time. I tapped into my translation app and asked for entry and exit document. And the lady gave me this paper. And then when I was talking to a friend about wanting to do this process, and she said, make sure the document is from your date of birth until now. So whatever the first time you set foot into Korea. So when I looked at my document, I realized it just started from when I came to Korea as of this year. So I needed to go back and get it from 2017 up until now. I didn't want to go to City Hall, and someone told me what is it called? Some office in your neighborhood. So I went and got the same document. I kept both of them with me because I was like, I'm just going to use both. If they don't want it at the DMV, then that's fine. I have all my documents ready and proceeded to go to the city not far from where I lived. I got there, I had all my documents ready, and I walked up to the table. I explained what I was there for, and the lady was just like, no, you can't get this done. I was just like, what do you mean I can't get it done? And she was just very adamant about saying no, no, no. And then eventually she said, okay, you can come back at another date, just not today. Then she gave me an extra document that I needed to fill out. So I left. I didn't want to go back, honestly. I was nervous. I didn't want to go back. I had heard there's a chance for me to get it done in Seoul, but I didn't think that was possible because in America, you go to the DMV in your city to get something like that done. But I said, why not give it a shot, right? I decided to go to Seoul. I had all my documents ready still, and I walked up to the table. He didn't question that I was coming from another city. They took all my documents, but then he looked at the paper and told me I have the wrong document. And I was like, what? This was the document I had with me right here. This is not what they want. You need to make sure it says entry and exit document, literally, okay? So this was the first one I got that just showed this year. And when I went back the second time and I got all the years, I know they're blacked out because obviously, but you can see it shows more dates. So the guy told me, no, this is not the document we need. I was so nervous because it was like around 3 o'clock. They would be closing in a couple of hours. So he told me, if you don't have this document, we can proceed. And I was like, where do I go? He gave me this paper map actually. And it says, this is where they are. This is where the immigration office you can go to. And if you can come back before 4 o'clock, he told me, you'll be able to get in today and take that test. Oh, I ran so fast to go to the office. I was able to get the document within like seconds. Give them money for it, and I got the document and I went back to the DMV. Now I had the entry and exit document and I was set up to be able to take the test. But before that, I needed to do 2 things. One, I needed to get my eye test done. If you do not have a passport picture that needs to go on the driver's license, do not fret. They have those services available in the building. So I got that done, brought those to them. They took one of the pictures. I think 2 of the pictures needed to go on the form as well. And I was ready to take the test. I went in to take the test and I failed. No! I forgot my score. So I walked downstairs and I said, oh, what do I need to do? And he told me, you can retake your test as many times as you want between the first day and a year to the first day. So you can take it every single day until you pass. You have a year as a limit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take it for an entire year before I passed. It was also during my vacation, so I really wanted to utilize that time I was on vacation before I went back to work because I would not have time to do that. I came home, spent more time trying to study a little bit because, like I said, the test is quite similar already if you know how to drive and it's something you've done before. However, some of the sentences are just worded weirdly. It was hard to choose my answers because it felt like I could choose more than one options, but the question only needed me to choose one response. That was where I felt like I had difficulty. So when I had the second chance to come back and take the test, some questions I really honestly try to memorize them. And the others I was just hoping something would click in my head and I'll be able to like apply something similar, or just hoping I would find similar questions basically. I came back the second time to the one in Seoul, took the test, I passed, and I was so excited. I have my license. So I have my Korean license. Even though I still don't drive with it, it just felt really good because now I have it. And it does not expire for 10 years. Oh, the one thing that shocked me was when I finished and I came down from the test, it told me I passed. And I said, oh, how long does it take before you get the license? Because I'm thinking a month. Because in the US, it takes about like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer, depending on how busy they are. And he was like, you just have to go to window number 1 and it should take about 30 minutes. He said 30 minutes. I got it within 10 minutes of me waiting. I saw my name on the screen. They call you to the front. They ask you your name. They want to make sure the name and the information matches what's on your registration ID card. I was like, what? Why does it take weeks in the US? I'm not sure why, but it did not take a day in Korea. So that was what I did. I would like to share some resources that I used to study because the first time I did not study at all. And it showed because I failed. And I went online onto the Facebook group asking, has anyone ever done this before? What are some tips or things you recommend? Someone sent me a PDF file. Some were like, oh, I just took mine without studying and I passed. That's another question here. I found that there's an app. There's an app specifically for Korean driver's license that I used, as well as the website that I also found with list of questions, and they show you the responses. The questions are like multiple choice questions. Some of them require 1 response, some require 2 responses. They have videos in there, like short clips, animated videos. You play, you watch it, you respond to the question. Lots of images. Those are the kind of format they had in the questions. Now I want to talk about my expenses. It may be similar to what it cost you. It may be less actually, because like I said, I had to get the one document 3 times, and it may be more for you. For instance, first document I got before I came here was my driver's license that I got apostille. When I got that done in Rhode Island, that cost me $5. If you get that done before you come to Korea, you might be spending the same amount of money. Maybe, maybe not. If you are getting that done while in Korea to have a third party send that back to your home state, it may cost you hundreds of dollars, because that's what I've heard. That will be the most expensive thing you do. For example, when I got the certificate, the first time it cost me $2 at City Hall. I'm using $2, but basically this was like 2,000 Korean won, which is less than US dollars. But just to keep it simple, $2. When I got the second one done, still the wrong document, cost me another $2. When I got the third one, the right one that says entry and exit document, that cost me also $2. When I had to take my passport picture, it was 6 copies in there and it cost me $10. If you already have a passport photo, maybe 3 copies I believe, then you don't have to take another one. But if you don't, it costs you $10. $6 for my eye test. To take the driving test itself, $10. When I came back the second time to take the driving test, I paid another $10. And then when I passed, woohoo, I had to pay $10 for the license itself. I just want to tell you, the passport photo is just different. In my whole experience of taking passport pictures, driver's license don't come out well. They're not known for good quality. But in Korea, they're known for making pictures look good, and sometimes people don't even look like themselves in pictures. But this picture looks like me. It was touched up a little bit because I can't see my pores in it. But it was really good. Do you see that? It looks really good, if I can say so myself. So this is what's on my license. But I'm not going to be showing you my license. You can just Google Korean driver's license if you want to see what it looks like. It's quite pretty. I like the color, the design. You know how in America, some might be horizontal, some might be vertical? In Korea, the license look the same everywhere. So that was interesting. For mine, it has Korean information on the front, and then on the back it has English. And when I asked for my Korean friend to see what theirs look like, they just have their name and information in Korean on the front, and in the back has, I think, like addresses of related government offices and whatnot. I guess maybe because we're foreigners, that's why they put it on. So this is my license. At the top, it says my driver's license number assigned to me, my last name, first name, and middle initial, which is nice because usually they write out your full name even if it doesn't fit in, and they just leave the missing letters there. Next, they wrote my identification number, kind of similar to your social security number, and below that is my address in Korean, then the expiration date. On the left side it has my photo, and on the right side a smaller version of it right there. Oh, one thing I also noticed that's different from America. In America, they put your height, your weight, eye color, your hair color. This has none of that. The only personal information here, your birth date, which at the front has my birth date, but just because it's included in my identification number. On the back, it has my name, date of birth, my sex, and my address. And they wrote my address in Korean, but just my city and my province. That's it. Usually your license expires like 5 years from the first time you got it, and usually it expires on your birthday. Here it's 10 years and it expires at the end of that year. So mine, it says December 31st, 2031. So yeah, that's the information I got from my driver's license. I'm just looking in now to see if I got everything. I talked about the attempts. I got it right on the 3rd attempt, but after taking the test twice, the 3 options: direct trading, trading with exam, or doing it everything from scratch like you would in your home country. The documents you need: license, apostille from your home country, photocopy of your passport, entry and exit document literally is the most important one of all of this, and the prices for passport photo, eye test, taking the test, your license, and the payment for the entry and exit document, and payment for your apostille. Resources that people shared with me, the materials that I used to study, apps, PDF, and website. The biggest thing I want to share is if you are in Korea and you don't live far from Seoul, I would totally recommend Seoul. I don't know if they have multiple options. The one I went to is the one in Gangnam. Nobody goes to the DMV in the US and say, oh, that man was so nice to me. There's just always this negative connotation attached to people who work at the DMV or like government offices in general. I had a delightful experience. The person that attended to me was there, very friendly, spoke fluent English. It was just really nice that when I went the second time, I was like, oh, you again, I remember you. And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, but it was like, oh, you got this. So if I can give you any recommendation, I suggest going to the one in Gangnam. And if you don't even have the entry and exit document thingy, you can get it done at the immigration office close to them. So if you want to go earlier than they close, so they can give you that map. Or if you want to look up the immigration office yourself, go to the immigration office and then make your stop at the DMV. Those are the tips, my experience, and how much it cost me to get this done. It was less than $60. But if I had passed my test the first time, it would have cost me just right under $50. When you are doing a trading, they are keeping your physical license from your home state. There is a way for you to get this back. To get your license back, you need to bring a physical proof, like your plane ticket, of you returning home. they give it to you, they do not take the Korean one from you. At the moment, I just have the Korean one because I have no use for the American one. I forgot to include this, and I just wanted to mention that quickly if you are worried about getting your license back. That's all I have to share, and thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you. 안녕.